Hello, I'm Tony Carvajal, the Executive Vice President of the Florida Chamber Foundation, and welcome to another edition of the Florida Chamber's Bottom Line. Our special guest today is Pam Stewart, Florida's Commissioner of Education. Thank you for joining us, Commissioner Stewart.
Thank you.
Florida Chamber believes in a best-class education system and a workforce system, and we've been doing fantastic over the last few years. One of the questions I have for you is, what really stands out in all that time? What, over the last 4 years, sticks out as the best education story for you?
Really, I think Florida is a leader in the area of education, and sometimes we forget that. And I think for me, having moved in 2013 from 11th in the nation to 6th in the nation in student achievement just speaks volumes about the hard work that's happening in Florida. I think to have be second in the nation in AP participation is amazing work. Leading the nation in our Hispanic graduation rate is another thing that I'm very proud of. And something else that I think is very, very important for us to focus on is that Florida is the only state in the nation on the last NAEP assessment that narrowed the gap between white students' performance and African American students' performance, and white student performance and Hispanic student performance. I think those are some amazing facts about Florida that speak to our educational system and how well we're doing.
Really, congratulations to you, because that's multidimensional growth in all of those areas. And I happen to know those things because we've been working together on the Champions for Career and College Readiness. Tell me a little bit about why you think our education system, as good as it is so important to the business community.
Well, I think obviously we are preparing tomorrow's workforce, and in order to do a good job at preparing a good workforce, we've got to be sure that we've got the appropriate education and high standards and rigor that's involved so that our students do achieve, and not only achieve just for achievement's sake, but so that they are ready to enter the workforce.
So this year, Florida's taking a historic step in replacing the FCAT. Can you talk about the importance of the new assessment and share your thoughts on how this will strengthen Florida's classroom?
I think that we have, as I've said many times, we have a moral, ethical, and legal obligation to make sure that when we assess students, we are assessing them on what they've been taught. So we went through the process of selecting new, more rigorous standards in English, language arts, and mathematics, the Florida standards. And now we have selected an assessment that will align directly to those standards. And I think some of what makes that assessment decision so important and historic, as you mentioned, is that this is an assessment that we would call a more authentic assessment. It is more like the work that students do in the classroom, which certainly makes it a better assessment. It's not all multiple choice. There is some performance tasks where students will read passages and then they will write about those passages, not just their own opinion, but what facts they find within the passages. There will also be what we call click and drag items, where they will work with the problem, for instance, and be able to manipulate and select what is the appropriate response.
You've really taken this to the level of what a business person is expecting out of any of their employees, and our education system is truly going to benefit from this. Kudos to you. So I appreciate particularly you taking the time today, because we're in the home stretch of the 2014 legislative session, and lawmakers appear poised to pass a new A to F school grading system that will provide fair and accurate assessments for students and teachers' performance. Why is this legislation good for Florida's education system?
Well, if we have the right standards, and I believe that we do, and we have the right assessment aligned to those standards, and again, I believe that we do, then the last natural progression is having the grading system that most clearly measures the school's performance. Are we certain that we have included those things within the grading system that matter, and matter most to improving student outcomes? And I believe that a good school grading system is easy to understand, it provides clarity, it gives information to those folks within the school as well as the community members and parents and students themselves. But it should be there to motivate improve student outcomes. And I know from firsthand experience, having been a principal, that it can in fact motivate that improved student outcome. Having been the principal of a school that the first year that grades came out, we were an F school, and I saw what that grade did for the students in that school because we worked very hard. We worked to make sure that our students got what they needed, and we raised that school grade from an F to a C. And I think that the benefit that we saw was that those students really could perform. So a school grade should be something that motivates improved student outcomes.
Commissioner, congratulations on everything you've done from the time that you've been a principal to today when our schools continue to perform. And I want to thank you for joining us today. And to our viewers, thank you for joining us on another edition of the Florida Chamber's Bottom Line.